OSNR. That is optical signal-to-noise ratio. You must hear the term OSNR a lot. It is an important figure of merit used in DWDM fiber network. In this video, we'll cover basic about OSNR. What are the common noise sources and types? Equation to calculate OSNR. Measurement tool. And tips for OSNR improvement. Simply put, OSNR is a measure of the desirable signal power in relation to noise. More correctly we can says, it is the ratio of signal power to noise power, over a specific spectral bandwidth, at any point in an optical link. It is important to specify the spectral bandwidth and the wavelength range, so the signal and noise power are bounded. The higher, better, the signal-to-noise ratio is, then the link is better, and more importantly we expect a lower bit error rate. It is expressed as a power ratio, typically measured in decibel units. Initially it's defined in IEC 61280-2-9, that defines the OSNR measurement method and equation for DWDM systems. OSNR can also be thought of as an alternate way to describe the signal reach or number of amplified fiber spans a signal can travel. You can keep amplifying a signal until you reach the OSNR limit of the receiver. After that, you must electrically regenerate. Let's understand how noise power affect the signal. Noise power can be defined as any undesirable signal interference. Imagine you are trying to listen to a speaker at a conference where many people are talking. The higher the background noise from other people talking, the more difficult it is to discern what the speaker is saying. Can say we have lower OSNR. If continue with increasing noise, words and information are missed to a point where there is so much background noise, the listener can no longer understand the speaker. Similar happened in DWDM network. All fiber transmission signals consist of modulated light with some level of background noise. Due to some noise sources which we're going to discuss, noise level increases, and receiver face greater difficulty to decoding the signal information. All optical receivers can tolerate a minimum level of noise power, below the signal power. This noise power is referenced to the signal power, and is specified for the receiver as the minimum required OSNR value for a specific receiver signal power. If it is exceeded, transmission bit errors above the specification level will occur. Some people assumed OSNR is just limited to optical amplifier-based networks. That's not true. There are many noise sources also, can add noise, and create an OSNR limited system design problem. Noise sources can be grouped as active and passive. Active sources such as lasers, receivers, and optical amplifiers generate new noise power in the fiber link. Passive sources such as fiber, connectors, splices, and WDMs cause interference by distorting or reflecting the propagating signal power. Let's discuss about common noise sources, or types, and understand how they generate the noise. Signal spontaneous noise. This noise is generated by the signal mixing with amplified spontaneous emission noise, generated in an optical amplifier. It can also be referred to as amplified spontaneous emissions noise. Spontaneous noise. This noise is generated by OSA mixing with itself. Shot noise. This is electrical noise produced by the receiver photodiode in both PIN and APD type receivers. Shot spontaneous noise. This noise is generated by shot noise mixing with OSA noise in the receiver. Thermal noise. This noise is produced by the front end of the receiver diode due to thermal activity. Multiple path interference noise. This noise is generated by the signal reflecting multiple times in the fiber and interfering with itself. Source spontaneous emissions. This noise is due to spontaneous photon emissions during the lasing process. Mode partition noise. This noise occurs because of random variations of individual laser modes even though the total laser output power remains constant. Crosstalk noise. DWDM can cause interference noise as channel crosstalk. Nonlinear distortion. Fiber can also cause noise interference when high-power signals interact with the fiber, and resulting in nonlinear distortions, such as four-wave mixing. We saw about amplified spontaneous emissions noise, which generated by amplifier. Let's understand how amplifiers also impact OSNR. Assume this to be a long-haul fiber WDM link, a link that is several hundred kilometers. Amplifiers are placed periodically, at repeated intervals to boost signal power. Therefore, a signal can reach much farther. Assume on first amplifier we have noise, and OSNR archive 25 dB. As each amplifier adds its own component of amplified spontaneous emission noise, and degrades the OSNR. Due to that on second amplifier, we have OSNR degraded to 18 dB. In doing so, every amplifier amplifies the already present noise. Because noise is omnipresent throughout the spectra, and almost impossible to be removed. Hope that helps to understand why we need to make a consideration to use number of amplifier in link. We have equation with we can calculate the OSNR to see if the value is still valid. OSNR of each stage can be calculated using this equation. In equation, NF is the noise figure of the stage, H is Planck's constant, nu is the optical frequency 193 THz, and F is the bandwidth that measures the noise figure. That usually is 0.1 nanometer. To calculate the total OSNR for multi-stages, can be considered by a reciprocal method. For the n-stage system, that summarizes to equation. To use these equations for a big network, is quite challenging. These equations are calculated automatically by optical spectrum analyzer, which is typically used to measure OSNR. Most OSA units use the method defined by IEC 61280-2-9 standard, and the equation are automatically calculated. Signal and noise measurement are made over a specific spectral bandwidth. Here is the typical OSA view for a signal and OSNR parameters, which includes the resolution bandwidth and NEB, that is noise equivalent bandwidth. Noise is almost impossible to be removed, but we can use some tips to improve OSNR. Keep the laser source, OSNR as much as high. For that, recommended to use high-quality advanced fiber, with large effective area, and ultra-losses fabricated, that helps to reduce the nonlinear implements, such as self-phase modulation, cross-phase modulation, and four-wave mixing, and keep the OSNR high. Next is, keep in mind when planning EDF links. Keep input power into each EDFA as high as possible, especially for the first few EDF as in the link, the ones closer to the laser source. They have the most impact on final OSNR. If EDFs are available with different noise figure values, use the EDFA with the lowest noise figure at the beginning of the link, closest to the laser source, and second in the link. This is because the first and second EDFs have the greatest noise impact. Next is to improve the noise figure of the amplifiers and increase the gain. Raman amplifiers can be coupled with EDFs. Raman amplifiers exhibit a low equivalent noise figure and have good signal gain, but are significantly more expensive than EDFs. Therefore their use is limited to expanding long EDFA spans, where OSNR limits have been reached. Adding a Raman amplifier in the span increases the signal gain by the Raman gain amount, but also adds some noise along span length. However, the equivalent noise figure at the end of the span can be 0 or negative. The overall result is an improvement in link OSNR and longer transmission spans. Next is reduction of B. Because OSNR is proportional to B, and B is proportional to Q factor is determining the minimum OSNR required to obtain a particular B for a signal, which can be increased by advanced coding improvement. Example return to 0 is more robust to degradations due to higher inter-symbol interference than non-return to 0 coding. Typically return to 0 introduces 1 to 3 decibels receiver sensitivity, increase the non-return to 0 equivalents, and that increase the Q factor. Next is use advanced forward error correction. For coding improvement, the FEC idea is to encode the message in a redundant way by using an error-correcting code. The redundancy allows the receiver to detect a limited number of errors that may occur anywhere in the message, and often to correct these errors without retransmission. This allows for longer span improvement in system with B performance. But note that FEC coding introduces latency to the transmission signal due to the coding algorithm.